Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. It's a new year, but is it a new start? And how good will these managers in the chasing pack be? Where does Arteta, Lampard, Mourinho, Solskjaer, even Rodgers, maybe even Ancelotti, who's going to have the better 2020 when we look back on it? And is there any way to pull Liverpool back in, or are they going to move further and further away? Is Pep on his way out of Man City? And as I said, how long can Rodgers keep up that pace at Leicester? It's an interesting 2020. We've had a round of Premier League fixtures. Of course, Liverpool have got to beat Sheffield United tonight, and let's be honest, they're going to beat them. They're going to win the league. We've got to swallow that. They are the best team in England. They are the best team in the world. Is anybody going to change that? But we saw Solskjaer get schooled by Arteta on New Year's Day evening. Is Arsenal's future bright? Is Arteta going to be the man for them? I don't think so. And I think that Arteta obviously has got a vision, and if I was Arsenal fans, I'd be very excited by that. Despite what Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer want to tell you, it doesn't take a year to start building a vision. We've seen with Rodgers at Leicester, we've seen with Lampard at Chelsea, and we're seeing with Arteta at Arsenal that it can be done very, very quickly. And those managers who are asking for time for a vision is because they're struggling with their vision. If you have a philosophy like Lampard is to pass and move and press, or Brendan Rodgers in the way that they play, or Arteta in what he's trying to implement at Arsenal, which is quite clearly a hard-working team that's defensively well organised, with the flair that Arsenal have always had, then those things do happen very, very quickly. And talking about Arteta, if you look at the games he's been in charge so far, all right, there was a bit of a disaster against Chelsea in the last 10 minutes, but that was a goalkeeping error and tiredness. All in all, it was a very well-disciplined, hard-working side, which is not the words that Arsenal have. And I think Arteta's come in there and said, look, Arsenal traditionally do play good football. That's something I can do. I've played a decent standard football at good footballing clubs. I've coached at Manchester City. They're all about good football. What I need to do about Arsenal, though, is stop us losing games, solidify us at the back, make us more compact, make us well-disciplined in the midfield and not, wandering up and leaving space. And they did that very, very well against United, because Ollie banked ridiculously, stupidly on playing Jesse Lingard. And Jesse Lingard only works when he can spin into space and run at a back four. That did work a year ago against Arsenal under Emery. And it nearly worked in the first 5 minutes. But once Arsenal got that goal and they've got something to protect, their midfield, especially Torreira, dropped and Lingard became irrelevant, like he is most of the time, because if he hasn't got space to spin and run into, and you've seen that with Arsenal, defensively far, far better. And that philosophy, with the way that he will want to expand the way they play and score more goals with some of the exciting talent they've got, bodes well for Arsenal. But Arsenal will struggle with what Manchester United struggle with: the board, the funds, the squad. It's not good enough. He needs a lot of money. And will he get all that? Because ultimately Arteta could be the best manager in the world. But as I've said many times before, Pep, Klopp, put them at Arsenal, put them at Manchester United, they would improve. They would make them top four sides. But could they ever make them title winners without the freedom to remove the crap and bring in new players? And that's what Arsenal need to do. So that's Arteta's ceiling for me. It depends how well the clubs run. There will be improvement with Arsenal. Arsenal should have been top four this season. If you remember my prediction at the start of the season, I did say Arsenal will be third, Arsenal will get top four, and it will be Chelsea, Spurs and United going for fourth. Leicester have thrown that apart, but Arsenal are nowhere near fourth. So they are underachieving, and I think Arteta can make them a top four club, but Arsenal fans want more than that, and they won't get that without their board. But who's going to be the manager over this year that's going to be the one on top? Arteta, Lampard, Mourinho, Solskjaer. Well, I think Solskjaer's in trouble. As a United fan, it's sad. I think he's in trouble. United can always spend their way out of it, but when you've got a manager that's not got a philosophy, you can chuck money at the problem, but he can't coach. So unless that changes, Solskjaer's going to be inconsistent. Mourinho, well, new start to the season, they lose to Southampton. And the reality is, I think Mourinho's first 9 games, he's won 5, lost 3 and drawn 1. It's not Mourinho. And what I said this to Spurs fans is that, and Chelsea fans said it to United fans, it ain't Mourinho anymore. Yeah, he's still charismatic, he's still box office, but he ain't Jose Mourinho, the best manager in the world anymore. This modern game doesn't suit how Mourinho wants to win games. Mourinho was the archetypal tactician that could, win a game and shut up shop, or shut up shop and nick a game. Modern games, I wouldn't say the modern day game's gung ho. I think teams are energetic. They play caution to the wind. It's not a Mourinho footballing world. Mourinho is a former great manager. Where football is at the moment, it doesn't suit Mourinho. So Mourinho has to evolve, but by evolving, he loses what he was great at. So I don't see Jose Mourinho doing what he should be doing at Spurs. I mean, look, if I said to you consistency is going to get the top four, if you look at the top four, right, it's going to be Liverpool, Man City and Leicester, top three. There's a fourth spot there. Who's going to get it? Well, Chelsea have got the gap at the moment, 5 points, so they're favourites. But whoever is the most consistent out of Chelsea, Manchester United, Spurs, Wolves, you could say maybe Arsenal, will get top four. Now, I don't see Arsenal getting that consistency in the first few months of Arteta. I don't see Wolves getting that consistency because they haven't got a squad for it. Spurs with Mourinho, you would say, well, if anyone's going to grind the results out to get top four, it will be Mourinho. And I've said it a couple of times on this channel. I think I would bet on Spurs doing it. But having seen the points they drop, Harry Kane's injured again. Will they buy in January? I think there's too many question marks. And Spurs should be doing better. And at this stage, Mourinho is doing better than Pochettino, but he isn't doing as well as he should do. And I think Spurs are a big question mark under Mourinho. It could get worse, it could just be inconsistent, or he might actually find some consistency. He's never going to turn Spurs into title winners. That's not on the horizon. I think for Spurs it's about top four and maybe a domestic trophy. And if Mourinho delivers that, then Spurs fans will probably be quite happy. Do I think that Mourinho is going to do better than Arteta over this calendar year? I think it's up in the air, and Arsenal fans will like that, and Spurs fans won't. But I'm not. I think Spurs should do better than Arsenal because they've got better squad, better facilities at this moment in time, more money available, better manager. But that doesn't always count, and I think Spurs are in a very tricky period at the moment where they're struggling for consistency. And with a new manager, you don't want to be doing that. It could go the other way. It could go really bad for Spurs very quickly. With Chelsea and Lampard, they've got the advantage. They've got that 5-point advantage. They are going to spend money. Their transfer activity over the last decade or more has been superb. They're very efficient. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jadon Sancho coming in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Timo Werner coming in. And when you're bringing in the quality of those players and you compare it to what Arsenal might have to go and get or what United might go and get when they're being linked to Sean Longstaff, there's a big difference. So Chelsea look good. I think Chelsea have got a good squad. They've had a lot of injuries, and Lampard's philosophy is good. It is tactically naive at times, but when you look at the Arsenal game, half an hour he changes it and makes a substitution. That's ruthlessness. I think Lampard is a very intelligent guy with a very good philosophy of playing football, and he is getting the time that he needs from the fans. And because he's showing them a vision. They've had some bad results. I mean, you look at that Brighton result, it's not great, is it? They've lost at home to Southampton, who are much improved, of course. They've beaten Spurs, but Chelsea should be beating them. They shouldn't be losing at home to West Ham, with a Pellegrini West Ham as well. So that, Chelsea still have that naivety, which I think is going to happen when they're playing so many games with younger players. But they can start spending money now, and I expect Lampard to get better. And I actually think, personally, out of Solskjaer, Lampard, Mourinho and Arteta, 2020 will be Lampard's. I think he will have the better year out of those four players. Longer term, maybe Arteta can get up there. God hopes Solskjaer can get there, although I don't think it can. Mourinho, I'm not so sure. But I think with Lampard, he's had the challenges and he's still ahead of the chasing pack. He didn't have a transfer. He had a transfer ban. He lost Eden Hazard. He's been doing it with a younger squad. All these things, all the good stuff Lampard's done over the last 6 months will make him stronger over the next 6 months because he can sign players. His younger players will be more experienced for it, and they're already ahead of the chasing pack. So I expect Chelsea to get better and better, and I think for this year, Lampard and Chelsea will be ahead of Manchester United and Spurs and Arsenal. I think that's going to happen. I want to bring Leicester into it. How long do you think this is going to happen for Leicester? I mean, look, they got smashed by Liverpool. The dominance of Liverpool was impressive. You thought, well, maybe Leicester are going to drop off now. No, they go and win 2 games in a row comfortably against teams like that maybe at the start of the season you'd think Newcastle. Leicester's consistency is ridiculous, and I remember saying this after Leicester's good start to the season. I think they played Burnley and Southampton. They smashed Southampton and they beat Burnley. And I said that this is where Leicester will struggle. If they want to be a top 4 team, it's not about doing well against the top 6. It's about picking the points up against everyone else. And you contrast that with United, who pick up the points against the top 6, but get dominate, lose points against everybody else. Leicester are the other way round, and their consistency isn't going anywhere. Brendan Rodgers is brilliant at this. He did it with Liverpool one year and nearly won a title. No European football to distract you. Whole weeks off, and then hit teams with massive amounts of energy and speed, and they are blowing teams away. Leicester will get top 4. That gap is not going to get closed from Leicester because there's nobody consistent enough, that word again, to close it. So Leicester will have Champions League football next year, but will they then lose players in the summer to the likes of City, maybe Liverpool, maybe Manchester United, the Chilwells, the Ndidis, the Maddisons? And if you lose those amount of players, it's very hard to replace. If they can retain them and then add players in there, then Leicester could be a force for years to come. It's going to be interesting, but I think for this season, Leicester will be playing Champions League football next season. Nothing's going to stop that. With Liverpool and Manchester City, Liverpool are going to win this league. It's all about, can anybody... almost you want teams to be using this season to hit next season to stop Liverpool. And maybe Chelsea can do that. I think out of the chasing pack, Chelsea can do that. I think Man City can do it. Next season, they can stop Liverpool winning the league, but Pep is either going to have to knuckle down and rectify the issues of this season, i.e. defensively, or he's going to go in the summer and Man City are going to have to rebuild again. Which for Liverpool and Klopp would be great news because it gives them a free pass to winning another title, which is horrible for United because then they're catching up with us and our Premier League league title totals. So it's an interesting 2020. I think in relation to this calendar year and this season, May, I expect Lampard to come out on top and get that 4th spot with Rodgers, Pep and Klopp. Next season, I think we'll see the development of Chelsea even further. And next season, will Solskjaer be in charge of Manchester United next season? I think he will, and I think that long term that's bad for United. I think Mourinho will be there, but will he ever find any consistency? Arteta will get better, but how long is it going to take them to get better? And Arsenal fans are going to have to be patient. So for me, I don't see Liverpool going anywhere. I think Man City are a question mark. Will Pep be here next year? If he is, they'll bounce back. Rodgers... next season's going to be tough, but they will have Champions League football. Lampard, I expect him to get 4th this year and build upon that. And then we're back where we are now. It will be Spurs, Arsenal and United trying to go for the top 4, trying to be relevant again. Out of those teams, it looks promising for Arteta, but he's going to need the money. Mourinho, is he a former great manager or can he get back and some relevancy in the modern game? And United, well, look, it could get worse. It could get worse. Get your comments in below. Let me know what you think about this year ahead, this season ahead. Who's going to come out on top? Arteta, Lampard, Mourinho, or Ollie in that chase for the 4th spot and relevancy. Also, watch-alongs are back for 2020, of course. It's FA Cup weekend and we've got some good games for you. We're doing Arsenal versus Leeds on Monday night, FA Cup. We're doing Everton-Liverpool on Sunday afternoon, and I might do another one. But Man United Wolves will be on the United Stand Saturday. Thanks everyone for watching. Lots planned on this channel. We'll be back doing Football Manager and FIFA next week when everybody's back to normal. But I know a lot of people are still off and stuff like that, and that's sort of stopping me doing sort of longer form content on here. But we've got watch-alongs back on the weekend. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new.